So we just wait a few minutes because there's still many people joining in now. Maxime, can you also admit them?
Yes, I can.
So then I can start you with the introduction. Okay, it's 5 o'clock Tomsk time. I want to welcome everybody here to this session where you get informed about the Tomsk International Science Program. It's a pleasure to have all of you here. I will first play a small introductory video which demonstrates where we are with Tomsk International Science Program.
У тебя показатель, удельный вес показателя по категории, по ППСу 100%, по ВВП 100%. Как ты между ними? Они у тебя вообще про разные показатели. Как это удельный вес разных показателей отдельных категорий распределяешь? Это неправильная логика. Это неправильная логика. У нас удельный вес показателей данной категории работников. А зачем мы их разделили на категории и каждой категории определили свои показатели?
So I just muted everybody because someone was talking through the video. So let's start with a small presentation now to tell you a little bit about the program. Well, Tomsk International Science Program is started a year ago. So we have the first batch of students coming in last year. And it is created to make a program that deals with the challenges of our society. So it's not just training you for getting a diploma, it's more training you for going to the society to address all kinds of questions and problems that we have nowadays. So what are these features? How is it different from others? Well, number one, I think it is the program, the only program in Russia in the sciences that's really international and completely in English. So if you are interested in natural sciences, because Tomsk International Science Program is a mixture of 4 different disciplines, biology, chemistry, physics, and mathematics, then this is the program for you. You can make your own curriculum by choosing how much physics and mathematics, etc. you want. And the whole program is focusing on dealing with the challenges of our global society. You know, many problems that we face now, think about the coronavirus, think about the climate changes, pollution, etc. All these things require a interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary approach. And it's not only about getting different disciplines together, but also to learn them, to teach them how to work together, how to communicate with each other. And that is precisely what we do in the Tomsk International Science Program. You work in groups and you learn from the beginning on to present the things that you understand, the things that you learn, to share them with other students. Basically, you are also co-educating and co-teaching the people that are participating in the program. So it is a real interactive program, and you're surrounded by teachers who have the same attitude. It's not something like just duplicating what I'm saying as the director of the program, but it's just helping you to think by yourself how you could solve problems. TISP is a transdisciplinary education. It means we learn you to become an expert, but at the same time to work together with other experts in other fields. It is unique because there's something like that a lot in the world. We have the Maastricht Science Program, which was the start and the example for the start of this program, which is like Tomsk International Science Program, a liberal arts and science program. So you can choose between different lines and you can tailor-made it to your own talents and own interests. At the same time, you have an academic advisor throughout the whole education for about 4 years, so who helps you to find the right track for you, so that you can become a specialist that you always wanted to be, for example, in neurosciences, or in biology, or in mathematics or physics, or some interdiscipline in ecology, whatever you can choose by picking out a combination of things from the different disciplines. The first year of this program is a founding year because we have international students from all over the world. You can imagine that they have different levels. Okay, we only accept good students, very good motivated students, but still there are differences. So in this first year, we train them in the different disciplines like the physics, mathematics, chemistry, and biology to reach a minimum level that we want them to reach when they move to the second year and on. Then in those 4 years, you have an open curriculum where you can choose a mixture of all kinds of courses, not only from Tomsk State University, but also from other universities in Tomsk, as well as worldwide. That can be online, that can be by exchange programs. And again, together with your academic advisor, we help you to make the right choices. So you learn to work together. You learn to work in other universities, in other environments, with the industry. And ultimately, I think by this academic advising, you will reach a state where you become a professional person who knows that you have to keep on learning for the rest of your life. Why do you need to learn for the rest of your life? Because the information is doubling every 4 or 5 years. So after the end of the education, there's a lot of new information. So we teach you to keep on learning in an active way and to know what is real information and what is fake information. One of the biggest challenges of our time. So, as I said, I'm the director of the program. I'm a typical example of a multidisciplinary trained person. So I started with history of arts. And then after getting my master there, I moved on to biology and to physics. I did my PhD in quantum physics. Then I studied clinical physics and became a professor seeing patients in the hospital, leading a clinical department. So I learned by this experience in my life that you need so many stones to build up a building and to make something new. And by this experience, I thought by myself, like our people in Maastricht and in Tomsk, we decided, yeah, we have to create a new education which mixes all these backgrounds, but on a high level. You should know that if you study in a multidisciplinary program, everything a little bit, then of course you never become an expert in one of the fields. So you have to focus, but at the same time, you need to learn to communicate with people from other disciplines so that you can form a team. It takes you 4 years to get this practical and theoretical training, learning you how to communicate in English in a multicultural environment. The majority of the students come from all over the world. So you get acquainted with different cultures, different attitudes, different philosophies, which forms you also for the rest of your life. Key partners are Maastricht University and Siberian State Medical University, but we have a lot of cooperation with other universities as well. So this provides you a wonderful environment. And if I would start as a student, I would definitely will go to the TISP, because this would really deal with my interest in life. It's much broader than one discipline. So what are the highlights of TISP? It gives you the opportunity to construct your own unique curriculum in the natural sciences from a wide variety of courses, skills, and projects. It does it in English, which makes it possible at the end of the bachelor to very easily go to the best master programs all over the world. And that is our aim. Or to prepare yourself to work in teams in the industry, to start working, not just a diploma, but really get a job because you have been trained to do these things for the society. You get an intensive guidance to create this program, perfectly suited to your personal interests, skills, and ambitions. And it is a stimulating international learning environment. We use problem-based learning, in fact, active learning, blended learning. We use all kinds of educational approaches that are modern that helps you to get knowledge and skills and competences. And you get a lot of chances to build up your own curriculum, not only in Tomsk, but also working together or even on spot in different universities. So at the end, you get a certificate of secondary education. And as the problem is taught in English, of course, it is important that you have a good English language. So you need to have this secondary education before you can enter. We have entrance exams, and especially, of course, we put a lot of attention also to your English proficiency. But on the other hand, you should realize yourself that the founding years, this first year, also gives you the opportunity to master English very fast, much better than your current level. We will help you. Now, what are the people that are important in our program? Well, first, let me introduce to you to Olga Maslenikova. And then I will show you to the international faculty that we have. So first, Olga Maslenikova, she is the managing director of our program in Tomsk State University. Olga.
Hello, I am very glad and happy to be here with you today and to introduce this very prospective and interesting program for those who would like to succeed in the future. I am Olga. I'm a managing director of this program, and I'm responsible for all the issues related to the management of the program. I'm coordinating the process, how to develop this program, interesting to be for you students and for those who are working within this program. I'm in contact constantly with the head of the program, Herman Kingma, and the other team members of our program. I'm really happy to work with all of us, with all of them. Yeah.
Thank you, Olga. And now I want to ask Zenia to tell who she is and what she does. Zenia Pazhelska.
Yeah. Thank you, Herman. So I'm a year coordinator at Tomsk International Science Program. And my name is Evgenia, or shortly Zhenya. And my background is in biology and neuroscience. So I studied first at TSU and then at Maastricht University, and also studied a little bit of physics. Yeah, almost like Professor Herman Kingma. And my responsibilities within the program are implementation and organization all academic activities, planning the schedule for students, and workshop, lectures, and so on. And I also teach some biology and neuroscience for the first year students. So I'm a tutor in some disciplines.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now we move on to one of our invited teachers from the Netherlands, from Amsterdam. And I hand over, oh no, first we go to Maxime Pleskov. Sorry, Maxime, I forgot you. I was first thinking about ladies. But Maxime is my PhD student and one of them, and working both in Tomsk and in Maastricht. Please, Maxime.
So good afternoon, everybody. I'm really glad to see you here, so you could manage to visit us today in this online meeting. My name is Maxim Pleshkov, and as it was already said, I am a PhD student of Professor Herman Kingma. I'm also, I hope I'm a good example of multidisciplinarity, since I did my major in physics, and then I combined it with biology and medicine in the Maastricht University. At Tomsk International Science Program, I'm responsible for the physics track. So if you're interested in physics, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Maxime. And now I will give the floor to 4 of our professors that are visiting Tomsk and give their a week or so a workshop on their specific topics. So many of these topics are really multidisciplinary. I will give you one example, and that is Dr. Loes Hank, who is from Amsterdam, from the Jeleni Clinic, and she will introduce herself. And she gave for a week lessons and workshops in Tomsk about what you can imagine about addiction, and addiction to about anything, because addiction has so many different aspects that are so important for our students. Loes, пожалуйста.
Yes, good afternoon. I think it's in your place. It's still morning in the Netherlands, and it's good to see everybody. And thanks for your introduction, Herman. And yeah, I really enjoyed coming over and visiting you and talking to you students about addiction. And what we did last March is that I gave some classes on neurobiology of addiction, that we consider addiction a brain disease, and all interesting things are happening up there. And I gave some lectures about that, and I gave an overview about how we deal with drugs in the Netherlands, because we're like infamous for having tolerant drug policies, which is totally different from Russia. So that was really interesting to see the differences and the pros and cons about how we do it, and how you handle those things in your country. And I found it a really fruitful week. So I hope I can get back to you again to do it again, because I really enjoyed it. And maybe you can see in the background, but I have the Tomsk calendar is on my mantelpiece in the house. I got it from you guys as a present. And so I really enjoyed, and I hope I can come back and teach you some more about substances and the disease of addiction.
Thank you very much, Loes. So basically, we invited Loes because she has a great knowledge about not only the biological aspects of drugs, but also on the social, economic, and medical aspects of that, and how to deal with that in the society. So psychological aspects, it's a really multidisciplinary approach. So we invite on the program professors from anywhere, which are top specialists in their discipline, and generally we address problems that are composed of physics and mathematics and chemistry and everything, so that you learn to see how in society we have to deal with that. So another step is when I go to Professor Floris Wuijks from Antwerp University, and he is a top expert in the balance system, but also in space research. So there are so many elements there also that combine in his interest and his profession. Please, пожалуйста, Floris.
Thank you so much, Herman, to have me in this program, and also Olga and the other colleagues. Last year when I was there for the first time, it was really fantastic to be there, because I like so much the eagerness of the students and everybody there participating in this program. Like Herman, I'm a physicist also, but I diverted into what we could say perhaps different levels of intricacy and complexity, being the human body. And indeed, I look at the vestibular system and how patients can be dizzy because of problems with the inner ear. But so on one hand, I see patients with dizziness, like Herman did many years, and actually he was my great example several years ago. But also I see another type of patients. Well, it's not patients, but people who are exposed to extreme environment of being going to space. And so when a cosmonaut goes to space or an astronaut goes to space and he's coming back, he actually is a little bit like a patient, because he's very much disoriented, and his equilibrium system is completely upset, because in space they don't detect gravity. So, and one of our fundamental things in life throughout the evolution of the planet, actually for millions of years, is gravity. So everything which is doing in our life is actually determined by, for a great part, by gravity. So if we don't detect gravity, we would just like fall like when you're asleep. So, and I moved further on into the brain, because we realized in the past 10 years that a lot of that the brain plays an enormous important role, as you can imagine. And it is very strange that although spaceflight is existing for, since the 60s, with Yuri Gagarin being the first going to space, actually only the past 6 years, people looked at the brain with MRI techniques. Now that's very strange, because you could say, well, the brain is important, however. So I go from patients to the brain of astronauts, and therefore we need several techniques of physics and chemistry and biology to investigate them. So there we have a holistic approach, which is absolutely necessary. And then on top of that, by telling you these experiences of space and patients, you need statistics, because as Herman said also in the beginning, actually we are now kind of like overwhelmed by a lot of data, and some data need to be looked at very carefully, because you can make wrong conclusions if you don't approach the data with the appropriate techniques. And biostatistics is one of these essential techniques to make conclusions based on samples. So I will not try to bore you with statistics, because that can be very boring, but I want to kind of like enthusiast you by using the appropriate statistics, by doing these things which are essential to make the appropriate conclusions. So it's rather a fun journey through statistics and biostatistics and space and vestibular science. And definitely I can't say more than that science is fun, really fun.
Thank you, Floris. And I think you bring that enthusiasm also to our students. So thank you, and see you soon again.
Yes, hope
so. Now I move to Jos Prikkaerts. You see, we all play music, it seems. So we have violins and we have drums. Welcome, Jos. He's a top specialist from Maastricht University, and he's learning a lot, our people, about pharmacology and all kinds of things related to that. But you can better tell it yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Herman. So hello, everybody. My name is Jos Prikkaerts, and I'm not a drummer, although I'm a part-time musician. And what does this drum kit has to do with science? Well, everything, because science is like music. You need creativity, you need inspiration. And that's what I also like in this program of Tomsk. It's really inspiring, I think, for the young people. So I'm happy to teach there. So what do I teach? Well, I have a chair in psychopharmacology. So I'm really interested in improving brain function. And the focus is on plasticity of the brain. So the brain is plastic, you can change it. So I want to change it by improving connections between cells, or more. So I want to make more connections or more cells. And I do this, I study this both in healthy situations and in disease situations. And the diseases I focus on are Alzheimer's disease and depression. And for the moment, I work mainly with drugs, because these are the tools we have to improve the brain, I would say. Also, we also focus more and more on genetic manipulations, but that's still for the future. And linked to that, I also find it very important that there is a commercial aspect to your science. So when you have a drug, how do you bring it to the patient? How do you bring it to the market? So this, we call this valorization, and this involves working in collaboration with pharmaceutical industry and biotech. And this is also something I taught when I was in Tomsk. I want to point out to the students, okay, you have science, but there's also business. And how do you combine this? And I really like to teach this also in Russia. I think it's very interesting, and there are many fields to explore for the people over there in this respect. So that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you very much, Jos. I think it shows again that we give you some examples of teachers, professionals that are using different backgrounds to address a very specific topic in our society. But don't forget that many of the education that we provide also, most of the education is also fundamental. So we give you the stones that helps you to deal with multidisciplinary challenges. So you get physics, you get mathematics, you get statistics, everything. And then we invite these professors, these famous professors, to apply it so that you can see how useful it is to use all these different approaches together in one big problem. So another fantastic example to that is Wilfred Germerath. And I think he's for me a very special person because he helped me a lot in the very beginning to build up the cooperation between Maastricht University, the most international university in the Netherlands, I think together with Tomsk State University. And we built up a curriculum, and he is now contributing a lot also to our program. So Wilfred, please.
Thank you, Herman, for this introduction. Yes, indeed, I've been involved with Tomsk State University for, I think, over 6 years now, first building the Master of Biophysics and Biomedicine, from which actually the idea came to build TISP, which is a far better developed educational program. And from that, my experience as a master coordinator of the biomedical sciences in Maastricht, I help the TISP program with all kinds of educational materials we have available here in Maastricht. But my research, which is my main, not only my main, I must say one of my real interests, of course, is the science next to the education. So as a scientist, I'm an immunologist, so in the biological field. And from our immune research, we are developing immunotherapy for cancer. So like Jos is saying, we should find practical examples of bringing real science into patients, into practical daily practice. So as a fact, from the scientific research we have been doing at Maastricht University, we started our own company, my colleague and I, a little over 5 years ago. And that made us even more multidisciplinary, not only doing biology and education, but also becoming an entrepreneur. We had to get knowledge on patents. We had to get knowledge on personnel development, on rules and laws and regulations in Europe, in the US, how to develop these cells in a safe way that we can apply them to patients. And now we're actually getting our own GMP, good manufacturing practice facility ready to bring these cells into clinical trials early next year. In the current TISP program, I teach basic immunology because that is the basic where you have to start. But I think the Corona crisis helped me to develop a new idea of interacting with you students in Tomsk, because from the basic immunology, you can teach how viruses work, how coronavirus works. But I gave also the assignment of you figuring out what would the best vaccine be. And not only from a scientific point of view, but again, from legislation, from ethical points of view, the real multidisciplinary approach in finding the best solution. And I understand, of course, that is very difficult. But figuring out yourself, going into the literature, talking to people, discussing amongst each other, you will get the best grasp and you will remember much better than when I will be telling you this is the best vaccine. And to be honest, we still don't know. Only after a couple of years, if some company has proven that it works, then we can tell, well, that was the best vaccine. But to think about it, that is the challenge. And with that, Herman, please.
Thank you, Wilfred, for its clear explanation. I think it all shows to you, I think, that we're not on focusing only an educational program just like that and end up with a diploma, but we want to create from you very useful, practical thinking and working people that don't get a diploma like that, but are ready to enter to the society and get a good job and can contribute to all the challenges that we have. Or after the bachelor, like I said before, you can move to a master program all over the world and continue learning and preparing yourself for your future. I will give you one example of one of our students. We're asked to join us. It's Jana. Jana is originally from Novokuznetsk, I think in Russia, if I'm not mistaken, Jana. And she was participating in our honors program prior to the start of our Tomsk International Science Program. So, пожалуйста, Jana.
Thank you, Professor Herman Kingma. So, hello, everybody. My name is Jana, as already was said, and I'm the first year bachelor student of TISP program. And firstly, I was studying in the third course of the historical faculty when I firstly participated in the pilot version of the TISP program. So in the end, I liked it so much that now I'm the first year bachelor of the TISP. So that's primarily it. I really like studying here because you're really encouraging students to study, to try, to learn. And that is just wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Jana. I think, one second. I think Jana is an example of how I think inspiring this educational environment is, because she was the person who came from a completely other discipline. She studied history in a more traditional way, and history is of course a very interesting topic. But she moved completely to another domain, like in the physics and mathematics. And for me, it was not such a surprise because I come from a music family. I studied history, moved to physics and biology. So I share your feelings, Jana. It's very nice to have you in our program together with all the other students. So we move on, and maybe there are already some questions. If anybody has a question, you can always give a chat to and fill it in, and we can try to answer any questions. But I want to move on now to Natalia Jadovic, because she can tell you a little bit about recruitment, application, and more the practical things that we face. So,
yeah,
Natalia, пожалуйста.
Thank you, Herman. Hello, everybody. I'm representing International Division, and I'm the head of International Student Recruitment Office. So I'm responsible for recruiting people. And if we have international prospective students here, or maybe Russian students, applicants, so I would like to share information about maybe application process and accommodation. First, accommodation. So we can provide our applicants and our students with very comfortable conditions. Our residence hall has, I think, everything necessary for studying. It's very close to the campus, so you don't need any kind of transportation to take to the campus. So we have laundry, we have a little gym, we have cafes in our residence halls, and so people can live 2 or 3 people in a room, and it's very cheap. It's around I think $15 per month. So it's nothing, I think, for such kind of conditions. And of course, all students have internet access, some spaces for group work. So students can live in a very international environment, so to communicate with students from other countries, from other programs. So we have a very diverse environment, student environment and community. And what about application process? So it's very easy, but now it's different for international students and for Russian students. So international students, I would suggest to register on the website admissions.tsu.ru and continue, because in this system they will be able to upload their documents, pass their exams, and apply for an invitation and for pickup service. So everything in one system. And Russian students, they apply through the website abiturient.tsu.ru. So this is a bit different. So you're welcome to apply. And I don't think it's something difficult. International students pass 2 exams in physics and in mathematics, and they are able to get a discount up to 30% if they have more than 160 points for both of exams. And Russian students, they have to submit the results of their unified state exams in 3 exams, in physics and mathematics and in Russian language. So the process, I think, really not difficult, really easy, and our staff is ready to help and guide international students and applicants in everything. So please welcome to ask questions or maybe to write requests, any questions. So I'm ready. I'm here to answer your questions. Maybe I can write our websites here in our chat. So in a few seconds, I will write. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Natalia. I think it's clear. I think it's relatively easy to enter the program, but I think number one is that you are a motivated student. So we don't want to motivate you in a direct way. You need to bring your motivation to come here. And that is very important because we work in small tuition groups of 10 students. And in these tuition groups, you work together with your fellow students. So everything depends on how active you are. If you're completely silent all the time, then it doesn't help the process of interactive learning so much. So please apply if you are motivated, if you really want to go for the top, then we are very welcoming you. And we are helping you to create a fantastic career. At the same time, some people I know by experience are thinking about, is my English good enough? Well, we will take an interview with you, a personal interview with one of our teams. Often I will be there as well, just to check if we think that it's sufficient. And then in the upcoming year, the first year, you can optimize your English proficiency. But it's better, of course, to be prepared. And if you can follow me like this, then basically that is enough to start in the program. Are there other things that are important? Well, important is to know that Tomsk is a fantastic city. You see on the background the main building of Tomsk State University. It's a beautiful building, and you see now when you come there flowers and nature in all beauty. When you come in the winter, people think, oh my God, Siberia, this must be a very dangerous place to be. No, it's a fantastic place to be. It can be cold, -5, -10, -20, -40. It can be cold, it can be windy, there can be a lot of snow, but it's a fantastic experience. Crispy air, very nice nature, beautiful, covered by the snow, old churches, the wooden houses. It is a romantic, fantastic city. And in the last years, I count now for about 10 years in Tomsk, I think I've seen how it developed as a more international city. So there are many pubs, there are many clubs and cafes, and you meet all kinds of students from everywhere. Because you should realize yourself that Tomsk is in the center of Russia. It's the first Siberian university in Russia. It's a very old university and ranked in the top 5 of Russia. So it's a fantastic place to be and to experience in your life. So Siberia is not only a challenge, it's falling in love with Tomsk. So if you have any questions, please tell them. You can do it now by giving a small chat or information. I see that someone is asking some questions. I will try to address them. If you wait a moment. I think you saw that Natalia just posted a number of data which are important to know. And then I see from Martha Gomez that when should I apply if I'm graduating in June 2021. So Natalia already answered. She's fast. So that's indeed next year. So and we will continue. So of course you can apply and can prepare yourself in the next few years, depending on when you get your secondary school diploma. So I think this is the end of our session. I don't see any questions anymore. Please, if you have any questions to one of the teachers, just write it now. And I will be happy to connect you with one of them. If not, then you can always write a note to Natalia or to myself via the website. I will be happy to answer all your questions and guide you to become a student at Tomsk International Science Program. So thank you very much, and I thank all people that contributed to this streamed information to YouTube and via Zoom. Thank you, everybody, for contributing, and well, we see each other soon again. Bye-bye.